All right, I think we're live.
Yay! Hi everyone, welcome back. Welcome if this is your first time or if you're returning to us, thank you for joining us. This is the NaNoWriMo virtual write-in event.
Psyching myself up with a little dance.
That's what we're here for. We are here to get ourselves psyched up, to get our creative juices flowing, to enjoy the community and just dedicate some time to writing. And you can work on your own stuff. You can work on the prompts that we're going to offer to you. That's just there for you if you want it. So feel free to participate in the chat. Tell us where you're coming from, what's going on right now, and absolutely talk amongst yourselves, help out with anybody that's new, answer any questions. We love it, and just get as involved or not as you like. This is all about just having fun and loosening up and being playful, getting some writing done, or even just thinking about writing. So my name is Jordan. I'm the editorial intern here at NaNoWriMo. Catherine, you want to introduce yourself? Oh, and I use he, him pronouns.
Yeah. I'm Catherine. I'm the communications manager at NaNoWriMo, and my pronouns are she, her, or they, them.
Perfect. And I believe Mariah is going to be manning the chat for us. So she's also going to be posting the prompts when I'll share the prompts here, and then she'll also share them in the chat as well. And if you miss anything, you can scroll back in the chat, or you just ask and somebody will probably help.
Sorry.
Oh, that's all right. Yeah, if you miss anything, feel free to scroll back in the chat or just ask and someone will probably be able to help you out. So, all right, well, how are we all doing? Are we feeling good today? Where are we coming from? We've got Florida, Arizona, nice. California, we're in California. Ooh, yeah. World UK. Welcome, thank you for coming. Yeah, we have had people from Uganda join us. Hopefully they'll come back today. Germany, excellent. Thank you guys for showing up again, or if this is your first time, I hope that you enjoy. This is a very laid back kind of event. Los Angeles, Long Island, Belgium. I have a friend in Belgium, Tienen.
Nice.
Oh, Glasgow, I love
Alabama.
Glasgow.
I'm from Alabama.
Are you really? That's right, yeah.
Well, I went to middle and high school there, so.
Mm-hmm. So you've got some experience.
Yeah, my parents still live there.
There you go, yeah. Well, thank you guys for coming. Oh, that's excellent. England, Morocco, yes. Oh. Finland, yay. We are a global event. This is so exciting. All right. Well, Catherine, is there anything we want to talk about today in particular as far as just what's going on with NaNoWriMo?
Let's see. Oh, one of the things that we do have going on right now is our monthly donor campaign.
Right.
So if you don't know, NaNoWriMo is a nonprofit. We are, I think, over half of our funding comes from small dollar donations from our participants. So we really are kind of like a grassroots org. And right now we are kind of running a campaign where if you sign up to become a monthly donor to NaNoWriMo for as little as $5 a month, then you get, not only do you get the $100 donation goodies, so that's I think a sticker and like a mini poster and a bookmark.
You get swag.
Yeah, oh, and a pencil. So you get swag, but you also will get throughout the year pep talks written by the NaNoWriMo staff and tailored to what you're working on. So if you're working on a new project, or if you're working on editing an old project, or if you just want some like general inspiration, then you will get those pep talks throughout the year if you sign up as a monthly donor by May 2nd. So I think we still got a couple weeks to do that. So that's what's going on right now. Also, I apologize if you can hear there's construction going on somewhere in my neighborhood. So there have been a lovely chorus of like saws that have been going on.
That is not so conducive to writing.
Maybe not. But I saw somebody in the chat was talking about they were getting distracted by a bird cheeping outside their window, and somebody told them to cheep back. So you should just scream at the saws.
Oh yeah, that's what you should do. Oh
Yeah,
yeah, it is the
it's,
season for all of that.
right.
Yep.
But yeah, our monthly donor campaign I think is the biggest thing going on right now. We've still got our Nano Finmo resources for people who are working on trying to finish a novel.
Hmm.
We've got a bunch of resources for that. And if you haven't announced your Camp NaNoWriMo project yet, if you're either just starting to write or if you've been writing and you haven't updated on the website, go and do that.
Hmm.
Because if you set a goal and then you meet a goal, not only do you get like, bragging rights of like, I won Camp NaNoWriMo, but we also have a bunch of sponsor offers on the website. So there are like discounts on writing softwares and memberships and things like that for people who are participating in NaNoWriMo, but there are extra discounts for people who meet their writing goals, just as that little bit of incentive. So make sure that you announce your project on the website and keep updating it.
Yes, and the cool thing about camp is that you can set your own goals. So it's actually not too late even now. If you want to just spend a week or two, toward a goal, there's still time to do that. So just, feel free to jump in if you want to do that. All right. Well, thank you, Catherine, for going over that with us. All right. Well, today, what I wanted to do is last time we worked a little bit on developing characters that maybe we don't have as much personal experience in, different personalities. So if you're interested in that, feel free to check it out. It's still available on our YouTube channel. But today I was going to focus more on the world around, the world of your story. So that is my topic today. And it's definitely something that I tend to sort of like leave to last anyway. So I thought it was good. And like I said at the beginning, this is absolutely just if you want it, if you need some inspiration, or just a little bit of a mental exercise, feel free to use this. Feel free to adapt it if you'd rather, and feel free to ignore it entirely and just be here with us and enjoy the community. But that's what I'm focusing on today. So to that end, should we jump into our first little warm up, Catherine?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. All right. So for today, I want to do about 5 minutes. We're going to spend about 5 minutes. This is kind of a warm up. So I want to think about kind of getting the lay of the land in your story, in the world of your story. So imagine your character needs to gain altitude in order to achieve a better vantage point. What's in their immediate vicinity to climb or provide elevation? It might not be a natural object. It might be, an elevator. And then what do they see, hear, smell, or notice when they arrive at the top? So just put yourself in the mind of your character. Imagine that you're going up and you're going to scope out the world. What does it look like from where they are? And we'll take about 5 minutes to do that. So just kind of give it some thought, stretch your writing legs a little bit and see where it goes. And Catherine, you want to time us?
Yeah, I got my timer right here. All right, so 5 minutes starts now.
All right, thank you.
A minute and a half left.
Okay.
All right, time is up. Go ahead and wrap up what you're writing. And if you want to put any, either what you use that prompt for, your word count, or a sentence that you wrote in the chat, feel free to share.
Feel free to share anything that you're thinking about, or that, you know, I noticed somebody said that it doesn't fit with what they're writing. And again, you don't need to do the prompts. The prompts are just for fun if you want them, but you can also just be here and spend the minutes that we have, you know, writing on your own story and writing whatever you want. So don't worry about that. But if you do have anything to share, and it doesn't have to be prompt related, feel free to put that in the chat. See how everyone is doing. Let's see.
Somebody said they were hearing a little bit of a tapping noise, and I think it might be your cat trying to join in with our
I know.
with our
That's a definite possibility. Yeah, I was trying to figure out if he should go out or in. I mean, he was trying to decide as well, but you know, he's always going to want the opposite of what he gets. So.
Oh, yeah, obviously. No, I think it's perfect that you. I in my head canon, you have a very literary cat. So.
Well, he is a muse for me sometimes, and yeah, thank you. I think that he's a very smart cat, so I'm sure he's got a lot going on in there as well. But how about you, Catherine? Did you work on the prompt, or did you do your own thing?
I kind of did my own thing, and then I kind of lost steam, and then halfway through, it was like, and then I was thinking about cats, so I was like, what if it was like a cat jumping onto a high shelf to survey the
Hey,
room?
yeah, yeah.
So that's kind of
That
where
would
I
be.
went with it.
I like that idea, though. That would be a fun one. I should do that. I was actually thinking about my own story, and the thing that came up for me is like, what time of the story am I going to work on? Because the landscape changes substantially, because there's like a war at one point or something. So
Mhm.
I haven't quite decided if it's like a full scale war, if it's more like a localized thing. But yeah. But yeah, my story at least begins kind of on the ocean side, so that's kind of where I was working. But let's see what else you guys have going on. Sorry for my cat being a distraction. uh, Thank you, Savvy Book Reviews. They say Jordan's cat is awesome. Well, he knows that, but it's always nice to hear. Okay, we go.
Christy Bartholomew shared a cool sentence.
Mm-hmm.
Sloane looked around. Thick, lush vines and leaves surrounded her in all directions. Caw,
Mm.
caw, the bird called again. Where was it?
Where was it? Oh, I love that. Nice, nice. Probably leaving about 89 words done.
Nice.
Protagonist pulls a cliche and climbs a tree. I love climbing trees. I don't care if it's cliche.
Great.
It's definitely one of my go-tos for gaining elevation.
You know what? People don't climb enough trees these days, I feel.
Oh
It's
my
like
gosh,
a thing that
especially
I did all
after,
the time when I was a little kid, and I don't do it enough anymore.
that's what I was gonna say. After a certain age, like it's no longer, I guess, appropriate or something. I did that not long ago. I was meeting a friend at a library and she was late and there was a tree and I climbed it. It was fantastic. I highly recommend it if you get a
Great.
chance.
All right. Tree climbing.
Hmm, hmm. Let's see. Nile Woman says, I had Gabriel looking for Jean Valjean. Ooh, but he is having trouble seeing through the dense crowd, sorry. So I had him climb up on a fountain, then onto a horse-drawn cart, and then a balcony. Ooh, I love that.
It's like that's some parkour stuff right there.
Seriously. But I mean, you painted so much of the scene just from that.
Yeah.
Wow. Quill of Duck says Valor had her hands shading her eyes, her green eyes. She looked up the mountain. The phoenix had flown up. What are you doing, Valor? Oh,
Cool.
this is great. Well, I'm glad you guys are enjoying. And again, as I said, if you're working on your own thing and this doesn't fit, you can, absolutely do that and even join in the conversation and share what you're writing. That's completely welcome. The prompts are really just an exercise if you want it. And sometimes they fit, just synchronistically with what you're writing. And sometimes they don't seem to have anything to do with it, but they could just unexpectedly provide inspiration and take you down a new path. So, you know, they're just for fun, but you might be surprised what you get out of them. And absolutely, if you've got your momentum going, keep with it. Don't even worry about it. But if you're getting a little stuck, feel free to use the prompts to try to help you out there. And adapt them however you like. Like I said, you can take what I throw out and then, change it up and see what you come up with and share that with the rest of us. We love
Mhm.
that. And I love, reading you guys' thoughts. I don't always, get to them right away, but I like to go back and see how you guys enjoyed it. So definitely share if you want to share anything out there and I'll come back to you. But thank you guys. Again, thank you guys for returning. I see some familiar faces out there and I saw your hello. So thank you again. And it's wonderful to see new faces as well. And I always appreciate how you guys help each other out. So great job.
Mhm.
All
We got
right.
a question from I think Asaya Williams. It
Okay.
says, any advice for writing multiple point of view?
Mm. Yeah, that's a hard one.
Yeah, it's actually I've been struggling with this too, because one of my like longer novel work in progress that I work on and then I get sick of and I put it aside and work on other little things, but it has 12 main characters, and each chapter is told from a different character's perspective. um,
Wow. Wow.
it's been a lot. So it's like an extreme example. I'm not sure I'd recommend it because
Yeah.
it's a lot of work. But one thing that I have found um, with that piece is that it's really helpful when you have like kind of a lot of stuff going on from a lot of people's perspectives, is to find a through line or a thread to tie them all together.
I like that. Yeah.
So the way I did that in my novel that I'm working on, I'm on like the third draft or something right now, is that I ended up putting in between each chapter just like a short little vignette from the villain's point of view.
Oh,
um,
wow.
and so that kind of acts as like a through line to connect
Yeah.
all the other stories that are happening. Like I said, mine's kind of a like a kind of a far out there case, but in general I would recommend like finding finding things that you can reference in each chapter so that it feels like there's a sense of continuity between them,
Hmm.
even though you're telling it from different people's points of view.
Yeah, yeah. It can even be some other kind of a touchstone like that, something else in the story that all of the characters may have interacted with or noticed, something like that.
Mhm.
But
Abby Rhubarb says, I'm having trouble with 6 main characters. Good luck with 12. Need it.
yeah, yeah. If anyone has any thoughts on this, please feel free to throw it in the chat for everyone
Please,
to think about. Yeah, because that's
please
always
give
a
me your
challenge.
ideas.
Yeah, we do. We need as many ideas as we can get. And feel free to also go back into our archives of videos because, like I said, we did talk a little bit last week about writing from characters that maybe, you know, are different than the types of characters we usually write from their perspective. So that might be helpful. And I'm sure there are other things out there as well. But
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, Christy Bartholomew says The Mermaid, the Witch, and the Sea was an awesome parallel narrative. I agree. That was a very good book. That author, Maggie Takuta Hall, was a camp counselor for us, I think, last year.
Oh, wow.
So
Cool.
I yes, definitely recommend that book. Although I
Yeah,
have to
no.
say, it was darker than I was expecting.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on my to-do list. I haven't read it yet, but that's interesting. Actually, that kind of excites me more. But yeah, that's another good idea. If you are having trouble with multiple perspectives, you know, find a book that is written from multiple perspectives. And Cloud Atlas was another one. Lots of different perspectives in that novel. So if you want to do a little research that way, that's always a good idea.
Yeah. There was somebody I've lost it now in the chat, but there was somebody saying that they were switching between two characters who were in like first person point of view.
Yeah.
And I think with that one, I don't know, I feel like with that one, the main, what'll help differentiate those chapters is like just really getting into those characters' voices. I think especially from first person. Like you wanna know what it sounds like inside their heads.
Yeah, yeah, for real. And you can definitely find some prompts and exercises in our archives that can help with that as well.
Mhm.
But anybody that has recommendations on that point, please share. Um, I was just noticing Quilla Duck said, "My name is Jordan and I have cats," so I become really confused reading the chat. Well, at least you're in good company. uh,
Larissa Grieve says Six of Crows is a really good multi point of view book as well.
nice.
Do
Thank
you
you
do
for
you write
sharing.
multiple points of view, Jordan?
I do. I mean, I certainly attempt to. It is one of the more challenging, you know, aspects of writing, but it's one of my favorite things to do actually, just because I sort of innately like to um, just study people, and I think it comes from reading a lot. You know, you just get kind of curious about what's going on in their life and how they see things differently. So
Mhm.
that's always a good exercise too, just trying to imagine it from somebody in your own life, like how they might react differently. I do that actually. I used to keep a journal back in like live journal days, you know,
Yeah.
and I would write my journal, and then after it was done, before I posted it to my friends, I would actually read the journal, imagining it from my friend's perspective, just wondering like how are they going to react to this? What's going to jump out for them? And that was an interesting exercise. So yeah, just pick people from your life too, and that can actually help give you a little bit of a jump start with that.
Cool.
Well, should we
Um,
get to the next one, do you think, or?
yeah. I'm like so sucked in by these book recommendations.
Yeah, I know it's hard.
I need to write them all down to read. Jessica Cozy also says A Little Something Different by Sandy Hall, which has been recommended to me before. So I think I need to move that one up on
There
my
you
list.
go.
But
Yeah,
anyway, yeah, let's get to the next prompt before because I can talk about books that I want to read all day.
I know, I know. Yeah, okay. I was just gonna go off on another tangent, but I'm gonna switch. Yeah, we got to keep this going because I want to get some good writing time in as well. So
Yes, we do have to write.
we do, we do have to write, but at least we're talking and thinking about it while we're
That is
here.
true. It counts.
So okay, guys. My next prompt is going to get a little more specific. And again, this is for you if you want it, and you can change it up. You can ignore it. You can do your own thing, but here it is if you want it, okay? We're going to spend 10 minutes on this one, and we're going to explore doorways. So doorways are highly symbolic and they can take almost infinite forms. It doesn't have to be like a literal door, you know, it can be a portal or an archway, like a natural archway or something. So describe a real or metaphorical doorway that will take your character to where they need to be. Is it like a fortress? Is it like a mouse hole? You know, is it the front door to their childhood home, or, you know, does it take them to another world? Just take some time to think about that concept and see if it generates any ideas for you. And then we'll be really excited to see what you guys come up with, or if you're working on something else, you know, we'll be happy to hear you share about that too. So, Catherine, you want to give us 10 minutes?
Yeah. All right. So 10 minutes on the clock, and let's start now. 4.5 minutes left.
Okay, thank you.
All right. It's time for this prompt. Go ahead and wrap up what you're writing. You can drop sentences or word counts or how you use the prompt in the chat.
Yes. Thank you for timing us, Catherine. Well, how did everyone handle that one? I'd be curious to find out.
What was the doorway that you used?
Part for me, um, it's funny. The first thing that always immediately jumps into my mind when I think of a doorway is kind of like out of, I don't know if you ever saw it like in the 1980s version of The Secret Garden. I'm sure that the newer versions were pretty much the same, but
Mhm.
yeah, I picture like this sort of old, almost cathedral like heavy wooden door with like iron, stuff on it.
Yeah.
um, and ivy all over it. So
Mhm.
that's always the first thing that comes to mind for me. How about you?
That's great. That is like the quintessential doorway, I feel.
That's the problem is I feel like it's a little too quintessential, but I
Uh,
love it.
yeah. I was since I was thinking of my story with the 12 main characters, there's a basically there's like part one and part two, and the transition between those is literally that the characters go into a trap door in a theater floor and end up in a fairy world.
Oh
So
my gosh,
um,
nice.
that's kind of I was like, oh, this is
Good.
perfect.
A trapdoor, yeah.
Yeah.
That is exciting. What does the trapdoor look like? Is it just like a square in the floor or?
Yeah. I don't know. To be totally honest, I've never performed in a theater that's large enough to have a like legit trapdoor. So
Yeah,
I'm extrapolating from the, many times I've watched Phantom of the Opera.
there you go, yeah. Well, that is a great one though. I love that.
Yeah.
How did everyone else do? Oh yeah, yeah. Wilkinson says the doorway was to death.
Oh,
That's very metaphorical. Not for the MC at this point, but the sick vampire. The MC decided to save the vampire. Ooh, nice.
aw, nice.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess, I don't know. I guess they're like not good vampires too, but I've got a soft spot for
There
vampires.
you go. Yeah. It sounds very nice. Not a lot of, usually you don't hear about somebody saving a vampire. It's the other
Yeah,
way around.
exactly.
Uh, Leslie Fleming says, I only wrote a little bit of the prompt, but switched back to something else. That's totally fine too. If it's not working for you, just do whatever works. That's always a good idea. Uh,
Sarah Cornelia says, I hate it when it's quiet for a while and they just look really still and I think my screen froze, but then somebody hits their head and is like, oh, okay. Maybe the computer monitor could be a doorway of some kind.
yeah,
This is the
that
window.
it is a door. I always think of it as a window, but a window is actually kind of a doorway too. I mean,
Depends on how big the window is.
yeah.
If you can
Yeah.
fit through it, it's a doorway.
Would a computer screen be a physical or a metaphorical doorway?
I guess it depends on how far technology goes.
That is true. That is very true. In a sci-fi, it could be a physical doorway.
Yeah.
Ellen Porter says, I spent more time looking at old doors on Google Images than writing. I
On
described the
food.
front door. I described the front door of a house my MC visits early in the story. That's cool. That's cool. But the Google Images idea is great too. I do that all the time to get, a little inspiration. It's a good starting point. So yeah, that was a good idea, Ellen. Thank you.
Ooh, Sophia B says, I wrote about a girl going to her 10th anniversary since high school, and she wound up meeting her ex-girlfriend from then, but ignored her, and the doorway was actually walking into the cafeteria.
Mm,
It's such a good like drama setup. I love it.
yeah, yeah. Walked out of the room, leaving this conversation. Yeah, that's why doorways are so amazing. I mean, just the door between one room and another can actually add a lot of drama, like you say. And we're getting a lot of great word counts too. Good job, guys.
Yeah.
This is amazing. Probably Leaving says 84. She looked at the shadows as they entered the fort. The way the light cast upon their faces sat ill with her. It was the feeling that few of these people would leave this fort alive. Oh, that's so good. It gives you chills.
Hmm.
Mm,
Well, Mark Spector says the key to opening the door to my character's success lies in impressing her colleagues higher ups and getting on their side, becoming one
hmm.
of them, so to speak, then getting the key to open it.
Nice. Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah.
A metaphorical key as well. Mm. Well, I'm glad you guys are having fun with this, and I hope that it does kind of help inspire you a little bit and get the creative juices flowing.
Hmm. Yeah, this is a good prompt. It's like
Good,
I
I'm
feel
glad.
like there's some people saying they're gonna go back and write more about doors later.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that, there's just a lot you can do with doors. It's one of those things. I just love it. And there's just, like I said, there's so many different, I don't know why my thought, my mind immediately goes to like the secret garden type of door, but there are so many different directions you could take it.
Mhm.
So it's a fun one.
I love this excerpt by Rebecca Sparks. I'm not sure it has anything to do with doors, but it's a lot of fun. It says, "I can't believe you managed to get detention with him," Erica remarked. "Why did you have those firecrackers in your history book anyway?" I know that too. How do you fit firecrackers in your history book?
Oh my gosh, that sounds like a fun story. Uh, well, this is great. Thank you, people, for participating with us. Whether you're doing the prompt or not, it's just so great to be with you guys. I love this community. You're all so wonderful. I appreciate everybody supporting each other and just being so positive. Thank you. Oh, EP Laiti says, I first wrote about the door of a car. See, there's another one. Sitting in a car driving somewhere is, in a way, being in a place, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. It definitely is. You can be very flexible with this. We're writers. That's what we do.
I always feel like cars are like, especially long trips. Always, it's like, some people talk about like, oh, it's the like traveling therapist couch. It's like there's something about just like being in a car in this like in between space, but like a very contained space going from one place to another, and like being able to look out on the road and just like there's I don't know, there's a kind of magic in that, I think.
There is. And I'm thinking like this would even be a really good prompt on its own because cars are so unique in that you are in a place that is static, but also liminal at the same time. You're also changing, you're transitioning, like you said. So that's actually a really interesting thought. You could write a whole story around that. Fantastic. Leslie Mean says, just looked out my office window and it's snowing in Colorado. Wow.
Helen Lemus says, "Wow, this is great. I want to write now about a mystical door that opens when a poem is read. It was late, so
Mm,
I'm going to do this for homework."
yay. Homework.
I love writers because it's like, oh, I have an idea. I'll assign it to myself for homework. That's great.
Yeah, totally, totally. And I love how many different directions you guys can take something. That's what prompts are great, about is that it's just a prompt and everybody's going to interpret it so differently, and that's just so much fun. And then when you share your interpretations, that then in turn inspires other people. So
So it's really inspiring to see.
totally. It is inspiring. Oh, I love this one. Abby Rhubarb says, doorways made me think of passing through low-hanging branches and finding something unexpected in a patch of dense trees.
Hmm.
That's great. I can just smell the grass and the leaves.
Hmm.
Oh, that's wonderful. If anybody has any other tips, by the way, for creating really strong environments, please feel free to share that in the chat as well.
Hmm.
Yeah, not just what you can keep sharing what you're writing, but we also love to hear any thoughts that you have on like any techniques that you've come up with personally or any questions that you have, on this subject or a different subject, feel free to share those as well.
We had this is a lot of what we're talking about today is world building. We actually had um, a blog post on our blog today, written by one of our sponsors, that was all about kind of world building mistakes to avoid.
Oh,
It's
perfect.
kind of an interesting thing. So
Yeah, yeah, I haven't seen that yet, but that's right on topic. So
yeah, if you follow us on Tumblr, we got some good blog content over there too.
yeah, yeah, definitely check out the Rimo blog and we've been featuring a different author each week, and they all have great tips. So be sure to take a look at that if you're getting stuck or you just want more inspiration. All right, well, do we have time for another 10-minute prompt, you think?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Get some of that good writing in.
Yeah, yeah, that's important. I love the conversation though too.
I
It's
know.
really,
It's hard to tear us away.
yeah, it's just nice to take some time out of your day and just, be with like minds who are all working on, the same thing here. So
Mhm.
gets you in the right frame of mind. All right, you guys, we're going to take another 10 minutes. And again, this prompt is for you if you want it. You can change it however you like, or you can totally ignore it. But this is what I got for you. This is actually the prompt that kind of inspired this whole topic for me. So write a scene where your character is in conflict with their environment or setting. So perhaps the door that you wrote about earlier is locked, and maybe it's inaccessible, maybe it's up high and they can't get to it, or some other reason. Or your character maybe is just afraid to go through the door. So think about the physical and the mental barriers that the world might present for your character, and just write a scene where your character is in conflict with their environment or setting. Take 10 minutes and then come back and share what you've written, or how many words you wrote, all that good stuff.
All right, so 10 minutes and let's start now. minutes left, halfway through.
Okay.
Hands up. Go ahead and wrap up what you're writing and let us know how it went in the chat.
All right, how'd that go for you, Catherine?
Okay, I kind of veered away from the prompt. I kind of moved into a little stream of consciousness, but
That's good too. That's great.
How about you?
I had some fun with it. I think I was somewhat inspired by, I'm playing Zelda Breath of the Wild right now. So I immediately was thinking of like the character like having to climb a cliffside in order to access, where he needs to be. And then a bird flew past my window. So then I'm imagining the bird, stole the key and now he's at the door and he can't get in. So you have to go after the bird. So that's what I was doing. It was
Oh, I
fun.
love that.
How's everyone else doing? Did you get something out of that prompt, or did you write anything on your own? Let's see.
Jessica Cozy says less than 1,000 words to go until I reach my Camp NaNoWriMo goal.
Nice. You're gonna make it. You've got 2 weeks left. That's fantastic. I'm just scrolling back a little here. We did get a few good tips here. Let's see. Larissa Greway says, write about what a specific character will notice. A claustrophobic character will notice the small spaces and shadows. An artist will notice where the light goes. Oh, I love that. Thank you, Larissa. Oh, and Nile Woman says, read Charles Dickens. That's another good one. Tolkien or Charles Dickens. Yeah, these are authors that do a lot of world building.
True.
Did you start to say something, Catherine?
Oh, we just got a question. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing this right, but Avrut Marishi says, how do you guys count words when writing on paper? Do you count each or estimate by page size?
Yeah, we had that question like a week or two ago as well. And somebody said, that's a great question. Somebody said that they count like 20 words and then basically, I guess, figure out how much space that takes up on the page, and then they can get a quicker estimate.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, that's a great question. That's harder to do for those of us that write on paper.
Yeah, I used to write entirely by hand, and at first I was like, oh, I'm going to count the words on like a few different pages so I can get an average, and then just calculate the average by page. But then I got too into it, and then I just like ended up counting every single word. So I don't recommend.
That's fine too. It looks like there was actually some good discussion around word counts as well, and some people don't do word counts. I'm actually not big on word counts either, because I'm a slow kind of plodding methodical writer. But it's all about what gets you going. If the word count sort of helps you forget about what you're writing and just write stream of conscious, that's fantastic. So just whatever works for you is great. So yeah, that's why we love to see both, word counts and actually, written little pieces of your writing there.
Yeah. And there's actually on the Camp NaNoWriMo page on the NaNoWriMo website, there's a graphic that has a little like conversion chart.
Oh, really?
If you want to, so you can still make a word count goal, but it's like a little conversion chart if you want to track time or if you want to track pages. So
that's so cool. I forgot entirely about that. Yeah, that's a great resource as well. Thank you for reminding us. EP Lighty says, I wrote about locking yourself inside to stay safe from the outside, not letting it in and not having to face it. Well, I think we all relate to that recently.
Right. Oh man.
It's so funny, a year ago when everything was shutting down, it was like, it was scary. And now that it's all opening up again, it's scary.
Yeah.
Change is scary.
Life is scary.
It is. Oh, Helen Lemus says, I'm sorry if I mispronounced anything. I had an aviator trying to make his way through the sands. He had to carry his navigator after a crash. Oh, wow. I love just not only the imagery of that, but it just makes me feel like the heat as well. The sand, like the grit in your teeth. Oof. We're going a little bit over. I think we got a little excited about talking about books.
Good.
Sorry about that, you guys. But I have so much fun at these things, and I appreciate everyone that comes so much, whether this is your first time or you're coming back. I love to see the familiar faces. And it makes me so happy when some of you show up for the first time as well and get, something out of this. So
Mhm.
I just have a ton of fun interacting with you guys and getting into this community and this headspace. So thank you again. I love everything that you've shared today, and I will go back and make sure I didn't miss anything. So
And just a reminder to announce your camp project and keep it updated if you haven't already. Also a reminder that you can change your goal during camp
yes.
if you want to push yourself a little bit more. If you're finding the goal that you originally set a little bit overwhelming, you can adjust that as you're going through. Yeah, and keep an eye out on your nano messages for tips from our authors or camp counselors.
Yes.
See what else. Oh yeah, check out if you can, if you have the capacity to donate, um, consider signing up as a monthly donor to get those extra goodies by May 2nd.
Wrimos swag, yes. And then don't forget, I am going to be here again next week, 1:30 to 2:30, or maybe a little over. So yeah, think about subscribing if you haven't yet, just because you will get those notifications, those little reminders. I know I need those reminders myself. And if you can make it, come back and hang out with me again next week. I love to hang out with all of you. So thank you again. Was so happy to see you guys again, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week and keep writing.
You can do it.
You can do it.
Bye everyone.